What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hopsgeeknews, your home for comic books, movies, TV shows, and today we are going to be breaking down our mid-season review of The Boys' final season. Yes, it is almost over. We are halfway through the season.
I cannot believe
Kind of
that.
sad, but it's left us with a lot of great moments and a lot of great one-liners, just a lot of greatness. So we are here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, follow anywhere you get your podcast. Social media, we are there. Hopsgeeknews, as I fiddle around with my microphone real quick because I haven't quite got it right. But, my beer of the week, because what we typically like to do is do our beers of the week. We also would like to do our comic books picks of the week. And then we talk about what we're watching, maybe some news. And so from Sideward Brewing, I got Under the Whip. It's a Helles Lager. And I picked this because, I felt like this is really appropriate for the season of The Boys because everybody's kind of getting put under the thumb of Homelander. Really, I mean, honestly.
They're going to say, because if you don't accept Homelander into your heart, you're going to hell. And also,
You
episode 4
are, that's later on.
Well, in episode 4 is King of Hell.
That is true. That is true. So, Lauren, what do you have?
I have a Swamp Puppy.
Oh,
or Swamp Puppies. It's a double dry hopped hazy IPA from Tripping Animals. So this is a nod to terror because if Butcher was a Floridian, maybe he would have a swamp puppy instead of a regular puppy. Of course, since it's Tripping Animals, it looks like maybe Frenchie was babysitting the swamp puppy. But I got it in my soup juice glass, which is from Family Business Beer Company.
Of course.
They're ever opening another location or making this beer again and putting it on Tabor. But it's still a beautiful cup.
Wait, they don't even make that beer ever again?
No, they're still distributing it. I don't know the exacts. I want to say it's being brewed by a third party like brewing contract or whatever in San Antonio. But I did see that they recently sold their Dripping Springs location, and last I had heard they were looking for a location closer to Austin, but I don't really know. And if nobody has any idea what we're talking about, Jensen Ackles actually owned or started a brewery called Family Business Beer Company. Obviously, it's named after Supernatural, and it was, I think, around beer, your family. And yeah, Tabby got me this for Christmas, and shout out to my dad. My dad got me Swamp Puppies, and he even said, "This is for you to drink on the podcast." But yeah, so that's what's going on. And Jensen made a soup juice. That's probably 2 years ago. I know, but the soup juice is really good. It's a IPA.
That's why I'm surprised. Like, I thought they would have been around for a while. They kind of packed up and everything pretty quickly and unannounced, I feel like.
all breweries do that when they close. They never know. And I was talking to somebody at a brewery recently that works at a brewery, and they were telling us sometimes it's because they just are on a week to week and you just never know how the next week is going to go. Because I feel like it's always like, oh, we're finishing all our kegs this weekend and it's our last weekend. Hurry up, come by. And you're like, what? No.
Yeah, out of nowhere, you'll see the Instagram post and it's like, hold, pause, wait, what's happening? And then it sucks too because if it's one of those breweries, like there's certain breweries, very, very few. So like if Treehouse announced that they were closing, I would make the trek to Treehouse. Family Business
or a Sideward, I'd be like, Josh, we need to financially invest in Sideward.
Oh, yeah, no, I would pull together like all $5 that I have and say, Lauren, take this and let's become part owners in Sideward because that place can't close.
No,
I feel like it's just one of those, it's a state of, society these days, I guess. It's a lot of things just surviving the economy. It's tough. But what else is tough is living in this universe that the boys are living in. But however, before we get there, why don't you tell us, what have you been reading, watching, anything exciting this week?
I've just been rewatching The Boys over and over again to write reviews and do these things. I've been rereading the comics. If anybody wants to do,
says gun to her head.
It really has mainly been The Boys. No, I haven't done any comic reviews the last 2 weeks because I've been focusing on The Boys, and we're at Nerd Initiative every Saturday. We're doing Saturdays for The Boys. I'm either with Matt, Thomas, or Eddie, and we're breaking down the comics and comparing them to the show. So it's been really fun rereading these comics because I read them all after season 1. Forgot a ton, but rereading them all, I'm like, oh, they did that in this. No, they did that in that. And like 3 of the episodes we're talking about tonight, because we're talking about the first 4, are titles of comic books that they did. So, and not all of them are, but so it's been really cool to do all that. So I have been reading a ton of The Boys. I have started that show with Dan Levy called Big Mistakes.
Oh yeah. How was that?
It is pretty good so far. So he's like a pastor, and him and his sister ends up stealing a necklace that's supposed to be like a cheap necklace for their like dying grandmother. And it turns out it was like $100,000s of necklace. And all of a sudden they're like involved in the mob, but it's got a fantastic cast too. Cause like Jackie from Roseanne plays their mom, and she's neurotic and hilarious. And it's exactly, if you like Schitt's Creek, you'll love this. It's on Netflix. And I read and watched The Book of Chuck. Have you heard of that? Tom Hiddleston?
It sounds vaguely familiar, but I have never watched it or anything like that. So
Eric and I, on the way home from Tortuga, we actually listened to The Book of Chuck. It's a Stephen King book, but it's a short.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's actually kind of cool. It like starts off with the third act, which is in kind of like his head, but he's dying. Like Tom Hiddleston is Chuck and he's dying, and you can't figure out what's going on. It's like an apocalypse world, and then it goes backwards, and then it's act 2, and then it's act
Stephen
1.
King probably had no idea either, to be fair, because of the drugs.
No, this is actually a pretty new one. He wrote this recently.
Oh, he's sober. Oh, damn. California.
Well, I assume so. He's like 70, but he starts off kind of explaining it. And he's like, I think I kind of wrote this because I'm getting up there in my years. But the book follows the show or the movie to a T. And yeah, it's Tom Hiddleston. The movie came out last year and both are really good. I was going to do a review on them, but instead I just watched The Boys again and wrote a review on that.
That's honestly fair. I haven't really been able, I've had no time. I mean, The Boys, we've been, doing our post shows, and then, Daredevil has consumed a lot of my time. Like each week we do the breakdowns over on Nerd Initiative. So like I watch Daredevil, then I hop immediately on and we put up that, which when this is out, I was on Agents of Fandom talking episode 6 with TJ and the gang. Sean, our boy medical nerd, Sean Mott is over there with them. And so is Richard Nebbins. So, I want to do some, cross promotion, and we've had TJ on before. So
we've had
like those dudes over there
before. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Richard's been a long time, and Sean's the homie. So, wanted to go over there and talk with them. So I did that if you want for this week. But other than that, I watched Scrubs. The new season of Scrubs is over. It was only 9 episodes.
It's already over? I only watched the first episode.
Okay, so it's only 9 episodes, and I won't spoil, but what I can say is it really was so well done. It really captured the spirit and the heart of the original series. Like, JD is chief of medicine now, so like that's kind of well known, but I'm not gonna kind of go into anything else. But there is some big emotional moments that really happened at the last couple episodes, especially, and it's a really good revival. But it was only 9 episodes, and I was, as soon as I feel like we were going, and it was really good. The supporting cast was good. It was over, and I go, dang, that was it.
Are they doing another one?
They are doing another season. I just you're used to Scrubs being 23 episodes or whatever.
Oh right, yeah.
9 30-minute episodes, it just was fast. It was.
I didn't
really
like
good.
that they had this was in the promos and stuff. I don't think it's a secret that they had JD and Elliot be divorced. I honestly can't stand
that one. I don't like
when you have a show and it's like, will they, won't they, and then you put them together in the finale and then you divorce them. Come on.
I still feel like they're gonna be the end game again, and they're gonna get back together, but they don't really share any moments together in this season, funny enough, because that was my big complaint too, is they're divorced. That sucks, because we spent how many seasons in the original show like, oh my god, they're finally together, and then nope, they're divorced. And
right, JD even had a kid with like Elizabeth Banks, and they still got married, and that's annoying. But I do intend on watching it.
I say watch that, and then watch Malcolm in the Middle, the 4 episode there, because both of those, they're how revivals and nostalgia, all that stuff really should be done, and they do a really good job. So aside from that, haven't watched anything, haven't gone to the movies. I did read Absolute Flash 14. I feel like that series is really getting better and better every week, with Jeff Lemire and Adriana Lucas, and Hanning is doing the art. So highly recommend that. Absolute Wonder Woman is just up there with like the best comics of the year right now. It's not talked about nearly as much as it should be, but it rivals Absolute Batman in terms of how good it is. Kelly Thompson's doing amazing, and it kind of backdoor piloted Zatanna, and her first issue gets to come out this week, but it backdoor pilot in such a clever way that you never felt like it was being forced. So I'm a big Zatanna fan, so great having her. The Flash, since Ryan North has taken over, is a really good run. Really enjoying that as well. Other than that, I read The Sentry. Oh man, Sentry from Marvel. I am blown away.
Better than Thunderbolts, because that's the only Sentry I know, and I did not love him. I love the actor.
Yes.
Hopefully he's good in Spaceballs.
Really good. Paul Jenkins, man, first issue was dark, but the second issue, he really captures what having depression is like. As somebody who really deals with depression and stuff, the way the premise is essentially Sentry's dog is dying and he can't save them. He has all these powers, but he can't save them. So he kind of gives him to the void, and there's points where the void's really messing things up. Nobody knows what's happening. They can't explain it. But Sentry is just really freaking depressed, and he's just really struggling with his depression and all of this stuff. and really, it's really good. It is sad, so sad, and it captures like the coloring and everything. If you have depression, you kind of see things in a more grayer tone. Like there's not a whole lot of life to just a lot of colors. It could be the sunniest day, but there's still kind of like this dull twinge to it. And it really, really does a great job at that. I can't speak about it enough. I'm very surprised, very blown away. Definitely read that book. And then there's one book, the final order cutoff is today when this episode comes out. Only the Savage are left. I have the cover behind me, but Zach Kaplan from Dark Horse. It's basically a post-apocalyptic kind of zombie, but it's more a look into like society. And I can't really, it's how savage, how much humanity are you willing to give up to survive in this world or for the loved ones? And if you get infected, the only way to stop the infection is to do something like heinous or savage to another person, and that stops the infection. It's really, it's really good. It's so intriguing, and that interview's out if you guys want to hear more about that. But other than that, nothing. No news really this week, I feel like, except for what do you have for Good Omens?
There's been a bunch of random news. It's just things come and go.
Well, Marvel's coming back to Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con. I feel like that's
there'll be a lot of news this July. Yeah, Good Omens is coming back May 13th. Obviously, there was some stuff going on with Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman stepped away from the project. It was supposed to be a whole season. It looks like now it's going to be one episode to wrap it up. They left us on a big cliffhanger at the end of season 2, so I'm really hoping that they nail it because, I mean, these two actors.
Oh, David Tennant, especially, yeah.
Yeah, and was it Michael Sheen? Like, they're both phenomenal people as well. And they're great friends. They work great off of each other. They riff off of each other so well. I love the chemistry between both of them on and off screen. And I really, really hope they end it well. And I hope that they do. I think that they will. But obviously things got changed because Neil Gaiman got taken off of it.
Because he's a piece of crap, man.
I mean, assuming all the I don't follow that. Assuming it all is.
I haven't heard anything. No right. They're allegations. I ain't getting defamation, but they are true.
If they are
rightfully
true,
taken away.
Yes. If they're again, we're not judge, jury, or executioner. But if you're a bad dude, lawyer. But the show's so good, and I love the show so much, and I love the book is exactly like the first season. Yeah. But it's great, so I hope that comes back. Spaceballs 2, it will be out next April 23rd, 2027. Really hope Mel Brooks is still around to see it, dude.
Well, if Dick Van Dyke's still kicking at 100 years old, then
it's just 2026 is taking a lot of good people. So don't take Mel Brooks, please. We got the Stranger Things cartoon comes out this week. I'm behind on Mall and Invincible.
Tales of 85?
That's out. Yep, Tales of 85 is out this week. I don't even know what day it is. It's not out yet. It comes out Thursday. It's out now. Actually, when you're listening to this, it's out. It's on Netflix.
Oh wow, sweet.
So look at that. But that's just a few things I got.
Yeah, nothing real crazy aside from that. I mean, it's kind of slower. Disney's firing everybody. Marvel's firing everybody. It's kind of
a lot of news. We just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's really bleak, and I don't want to go into that. It's sad. So let's go into something that's even more depressing. The Boys. So episodes 1 through 4.
Fictional, right? It's fictional, right? Fictional, right?
Spoilers ahead for episodes 1 through 4. This is our mid-season review of season 5, and we're kicking it off with episode 1, which is 15 inches of sheer dynamite. This is picking up, man. It's been a year since season 4 ended, and Homelander is basically just doing his thing. Ryan's missing. Sage is out there pushing Homelander. Huey,
recovering from a breakup thanks to Gen V. Godolkin broke her heart, but he didn't listen to her. Nobody listens to Sage when Sage knows what she's doing. She just keeps being underestimated, even though she is the smartest person in the world.
She really is.
Don't let those little male egos just get in the way.
So they're in a prison camp, and it was called Camp 47, and
freedom camp. They're learning to be
freedom camp.
They're learning about freedom. They're wearing Homelander shirts and sleeping on deep sheets, like the deep.
Yes,
not like
the deep.
I don't know what deep sheets would be, but yeah. Well, and they're about to be executed, and I love the title because 15 inches of sheer dynamite. Like they're creating like explosives in the camp to try to escape, even though Homelander knows it. But these comics are based on Dynamite Entertainment, so of course it's got to be a cute little nod to that. But so obviously they have to get them out. So that's the first goal, is like they got to break them out. But we also learned Kimiko was deported because they couldn't keep her contained.
Yes.
Which is actually kind of a nod. Well, it's a nod to how horrible our society is right now, but it's also a nod to the comic books, because in the comic books, she was a child whose mom worked at a factory that dealt with V1 or with V. It was like, but it was she was Japanese, I think. I think she's from Japan.
Yeah.
Okay, so her mom worked basically at Vought in Japan, like their version of Vought. She got exposed to it accidentally, and she just became like this murderous like toddler or whatever. But she kept escaping. And so that's when the boys ended up actually finding her, and Frenchie takes her in the show. They
basically chop her up and throw her out of an airplane. So
yeah, that's right. And it said it took her. I forgot about that. She's like, yeah, it took a while for me to grow back, but she's talking now. So
she does talk. People have complaints about that. You know, people are really not liking the way she's talking. She taught herself through TikTok and Instagram and stuff, guys. Like,
that's her voice. Well, and she still signs sometimes. And I like that they had a moment where she was struggling with communicating what she wanted to communicate, and she just starts signing to Frenchie. I feel like that's somebody who's bilingual, where they're like, I'm having a hard time articulating in my second language, so I'm just going to go to my first.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I thought that was fantastic. Like, it showed how frustrated she was.
And, you know, Butcher does come calling and everything, and the whole plan is for Homelander to...
you didn't even tell me you could talk. He's like, oi, oi, oi.
Yes. Oh, my God. He's like, wait a minute, you can talk.
15 hours on a plane, and you don't say anything.
So the plan is for Homelander to trick Annie and Butcher and them to come and save Huey and crew by executing them, which happens as they use the mole guy who eats dirt and shits it right out. And that was uncomfortable as well. That was kind of like gross, because like,
I froze for a second. I don't know what you said. Do I make
the mole man who eats the dirt and shits it right out?
Oh, the mole man.
It's like a worm.
Okay, but can we talk about him? I mean, that was disgusting, especially because he was like getting it all over them. It's like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Is it like actual dirt still, or is it like?
I feel like it's gonna have fecal matter in it because it's coming out of there, whether it's just dirt or not. It's still picking up stuff.
Do this. Ugh.
But you notice, and I feel like this is Kripke. Kripke did this in Supernatural as well with Chuck, where he's like, endings are hard. And this guy starts talking about, because he's a writer for Vought, and he starts talking about how endings are hard and you can't satisfy everybody. Kripke did the exact same thing with Chuck in Supernatural, talking about like anybody can create a beginning, but endings are hard. And then he even made fun of like Lost.
Yeah. No, I mean, they are hard. There are some Easter eggs, and
well, we'll find out if they stick this ending.
We just one episode. Just put it in our inbox, man.
But there's also more. I almost don't want to know yet, because the things that I do know.
I do. I'm tired, Grandpa.
I can't, like, nobody else knows who Misha is yet. I can't wait.
This plea is brought to you by Polymarket, where you can bet on who lives and who dies. But I haven't done that, because unlike our, so yeah, they come in. Fights ensue, hijinks ensue, of course. Also, really great moment with A-Train.
Days of Future Past.
He's got his family. He's on the run constantly, and they kind of talk to him like, "Dude, you're never going to not be on the run." And his brother's cool with him now, and that's when the Deep shows up, and he's already got his brother and family out of there
on a hammerhead.
Yes.
Okay, everybody makes fun of the Deep's powers. That would be so cool to be able to ride.
Cool with that.
Like, that's a cool ass power, guys. Stop making fun of Deep. Well, you make fun of Deep because he's a D-bag, but don't make fun of him for his powers.
Yeah. First of all, his power is kind of cool, like being able to swim anywhere in the ocean, talk to animals, and then
he can handle.
You ride up on a freaking. Are you kidding me? That'd be so cool. I want to ride on a sea turtle or a whale or.
I don't want to ride on a sea turtle, but a whale or a shark.
You know, Annie takes off. She's saving bodies. Leaves Huey. He was like, "Dude, what the hell, man?"
Okay, I hated that though. Frenchie was priority number one because Frenchie's the one that can recreate the virus, and Butcher said Frenchie's number one. Why would Huey? Fortunately, that doesn't seem to be an issue later. They kind of just let it go. But I hated that moment. It was one of those, like, really, come on, dude. It's like an emergency situation. She's saving whoever she can. Like,
Huey's still like, "Hey, you finally came back for me." And then he's like, "Wait a second. You don't actually care. It's just manufactured drama." That's all that was. But again, though, Frenchie is the key to trying to unlock the super virus, you know? And
right. What does Huey bring to the table? He just keeps Butcher in line. That's about it.
He's about to get lasered, and that's when A-Train shows up and does some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, though, A-Train trips over a woman. Homelander breaks his neck. He trips
so he doesn't run through a woman. So he does the opposite of what he did with Robin. Full circle redemption arc. Done.
How did A-Train's death feel for you. I thought it was actually, I thought his redemption, he had a redemption arc, and I thought it was actually well deserved. And he's probably one of like the only characters that could really be redeemed in this show.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I didn't want him to die because he had just kind of been redeemed. And I wanted to know what happened between him and Annie in the past year for them to become so buddy-buddy, because we don't see that.
No,
we see
it's
her,
all off screen. Yeah.
Yeah. And we saw her with them at the end of Gen V, where they're like, okay, you're joining the resistance now. So I want to hear more of that, and like how she ended up finally trusting him. Like, was him dipping out just enough for her? But I thought it was really well done. I didn't want him to die, but I did. I don't want to say I enjoyed him dying.
I kind of knew it was going to happen, because especially with his
felt it
full circle, and you kind of knew once they had that conversation, and then he had the conversation with the D, it was like, he's going to come back. He's going to save them. He's going to sacrifice himself. And he did. And it was sad. It really was. And I thought, Jesse T. Usher did a really great job with this character, and he played him so well, because you hated him. You hated him. You hated him.
Right.
And then at the end, you're like, wait, no, I don't hate you anymore, man. And it was the one that Ashley trusted, like the only one that was there for Ashley. And it was just.
Remember, Drummer Boy trusted him, and that got him killed.
Yeah, it did. It did.
So I'm surprised Annie was able. No, Drummer Boy was a nice guy. He's a D-bag in the comics, but he's a nice guy in the show. And that's why he was so trusting, so quick to A-Train, and it got him killed. And I'm surprised Annie was so quick to forget that, because she seemed very upset with that.
Yeah. Episode 2, Teenage Kicks. This comic books. Why don't you kind of tell us what happens in this episode?
So Teenage Kicks in the comics is essentially exactly what it is in the show. It's just teenage comic book people that are weird, and they've totally revamped it to the age of social media, because this comic came out back when like MySpace was popular. So the fact that they have all these teenage kicks are just influencers, I thought was a perfect adaptation.
I really like that.
Yes,
especially the part where they're like, go back and redo it. You didn't miss the line. You weren't sad enough, and they dragging that woman out of her house. That was crazy.
Yeah. And these kids just have zero like self-awareness. But oh my God, the cat lady. Oh my God, that was disgusting. And MM's like sees the litter box, and he's like, oh, and obviously that's making fun of politicians who actually thought that there were litter boxes in classrooms, that there were not. So that was where my head went with that. But no, it was interesting that they chose like, let's go test the virus on some teenage kicks and not some older superheroes.
I mean, I would have tried to go after like, I don't know, Oh Father seems like pretty easy to take down or something, but yeah, they do go after like the teenagers.
He's probably got a lot of security now. He's married to the vice president.
To be fair though, teenagers scare the living shit out of me, as Gerard Way once said. So
goes with their shirt.
Yeah, and they end up going to the rock that's just coming hot magma, and that was
it
so
rock hard.
And it was hilarious the way it was like, wait, what?
Well, and the fact that he can't talk, but he talks to like a Stephen Hawking thing.
Don't move.
But he was still, he was still roasting them pretty well. Like
he really was.
Thought, like, it was funny, and he's watching like volcano porn.
Yeah,
that was stupid. But so obviously, Soldier Boy gets woken up at the very end of episode 1. So we see him pull the crank to open it up. So obviously, you get the scene. So obviously, Soldier Boy kind of makes this episode. He makes it into something that it wouldn't be without him, because they're testing the virus. They think they've killed Soldier Boy. And then obviously in true Dean Winchester fashion, you hear heat of the moment and he rises from the dead. But we got a great nod to the comics here too with the, did you F me? Is this some kind of incest thing? And like, because they did sleep together in the comic, they're not father and son. I've said this many times. I feel like that is very important.
It's a very big detail of the comic. Yes, there is no incest in the that we know of in the comics.
Well, I'm like, is there? There probably is.
I had to think about it for a second. It's like, there probably is, but these two are not incestuous in the comic. All right.
I wanted to make it clear they're not in the show doing that. I like that Homelander.
The show. That's what I'm. Yeah.
But Soldier Boy was just. He clearly hates people who can fly. He's like.
He was I guess so annoyed by the teenage kicks dude when he flies away.
Yes, he was, and then he punches that kid when he called him like a.
Hits him right in the nose. Yeah, he's like.
Yes, he's like, "Don't be stupid" or something. He was just so done with his bull.
To be fair though, like I would be too. All Soldier Boy wants to do is hookers and blow. All right, that's literally it. He's literally it.
Not to jump ahead to episode 4, but he's like, "Why isn't there a bowl of cocaine in my room? It's in my writer." She's like from the 80s.
That's yeah, and it does end with the virus killing Rock Hard, killing the flying soup kid, and they think it kills Soldier Boy. However, it does not, because in episode 3 we find out that because of the V1 in Soldier Boy, it doesn't bond to the virus. Does not bond to V1.
Nothing for it to attach to. I love when we get a little diagram there. It explains it to us laymen.
Everyone, you son of a sons of bitches. Yeah. So Samir does explain that, hey, that this is why, and then we see, the presidential Democratic Medal of Democracy to Soldier Boy there, and that's when Homelander gets jealous and says, "Hey, he's my dad. Yeah, Dad's here," and Sage is pissed, right?
They're saying we're the sexiest dynasty in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's not following her plan. You see Sage visibly roll her eyes.
Yeah, to be fair, he's absolutely I don't blame him.
But now, so they're basically both looking for V1. They're trying to figure out where to find it. They're both aware that Soldier Boy survived because of V1. And I love how they have Samir telling the boys at the same time Sage is explaining it to Homelander and Soldier Boy. And and I love that she names the 5 people that got V1 and survived, and that's Clara, Bombsight, Clara, Soldier Boy, and then Angel. It's not Castiel, but it's called an Angel.
I don't remember.
She's
either.
An Angel.
Yeah,
it's another girl, an Angel. All
basically
of them
nods to Vought Rising
are on the IMDb page for Vought Rising. So yes. I love that they're sprinkling in all sorts of things like that. And obviously, this is where Soldier Boy learns that Clara, who he started Herogasm with, was Stormfront. He is unaware at this point, though, that Homelander has slept with her. He's about to find that out.
Yeah, and this as well in this episode is when the boys end up.
Oh, Annie's like, I know where to go to look for V1
because they start with Stan Edgar. They go to his bunker. Yes, where of course Translucent Sun's there.
Maverick, who talks about the llama he's in love with, or is it an alpaca? I
think it's an alpaca.
Then that's another nod to Supernatural, I feel like. Because remember, Jared had, not even Sam, Jared had an alpaca in French Mistake.
True.
The episode where it's an alpaca, dumbass.
It is.
That's their greenest animal.
A lot of good nods.
Now I have to fact check that.
But nonetheless, everybody basically is converging now because the Deep goes with Noir and Dognot. They find out that they're at the bunker as well. And
lives matter.
Kimiko and Frenchie end up letting Samir and his daughter go because Kimiko's having second thoughts, and she's like, "Let's not do this anymore. I want to have kids." All that stuff. Meanwhile,
she's trying to make up for her past sins and save a person, be forgiven.
And meanwhile, Ryan comes out, and him and Butcher are having a talk, and Butcher's like, "Dude, you got to kill yourself to deliver the virus to kill Homelander." Ryan actually agrees, but it doesn't end up
so virus, well.
Yeah, because in the end of the episode, Ryan confronts Homelander without the virus, and
he didn't know that Homelander assaulted his mom.
Yes, and
so that was kept from him, rightfully so. He was a child, so he should not have known that.
Yeah,
and so he confronted Homelander for the first time, and Homelander, Butcher used him to get him out of the tower, and he asks, "Did you do this to my mom?" And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. We just had an affair." And he's pissed. Hell hath no fury. Like,
he made Homelander bleed, though.
Mom was hurt, man.
He does punch him.
He makes him bleed. Does tend to bleed a lot. I feel like he
bleeds easily. If somebody matches his strength, or anything, he does. That's why he's weak. He's weak sauce. And but unfortunately, Ryan's weaker because he gets beaten. Yeah, he beats Ryan within an inch of his life.
He's only 18.
And Homelander leaves. Butcher finds Ryan, who's basically dead. The Deep delivers Stan Edgar to Homelander after knocking Dognot and Noir out and leaving them behind. And that's kind of where it brings us to episode 4, the most recent one, King of Hell. Everybody now Fort Harmony, because in the previous episode, is able to decipher where, and they're like, Fort Harmony's where all this kind of started. So everyone's going to Fort Harmony.
From all Stan Edgar's files. They pull it up. Yes. They're like unredacting things and all sorts of stuff. But of course, they figure it out at the same time as Sage's, you guys got to go to Fort Harmony if that's where the V1 was.
And so there is some stuff going on because unfortunately the boys start to kind of attack each other because there's some more things at play at Fort Harmony.
It's like a con worm in Supernatural.
Yeah.
Remember the thing that makes Rufus ends up dying in that episode? It gets inside them and makes them angry, and they try to kill each other. And then the Soldier Boy, the kid that was
Soldier Boy,
not Soldier Boy. Years later, it's a different one. So that was immediately where my head went. I'm like, and I love how Huey's like, oh, so it's like The Last of Us, but with a whatever. And he's like, no, The Last of Us is just Walking Dead with mushrooms. But no, I feel like Huey was right, because he says it's toxoplasmosis, which is like why pregnant women can't clean the litter boxes of cats. Something he can. You know what I'm talking about, though? They say like, oh, if you have a cat, don't do that when you're pregnant because you can get toxoplasmosis. So
yeah.
They were saying that had something to do with making them angry. At least that was Frenchie's theory.
Right. And, I do like it because, Huey's deservedly calling out for basically flipping and joining Butcher's side and saying that Butcher's right. And they're all about to kill you. It doesn't affect Frenchie, though.
B word, though. And then Huey's like, I don't know why I said that.
Listen, shout out to my boy Frenchie, who did too many drugs, so it doesn't affect him. That was kind of fun.
That was hilarious. It liked MM at the end too, when they were back to themselves. He's like, no, I meant everything I said. And Butcher's like, we all right though? He's like, yeah, we're all right, but I did mean everything. And I think they all kind of did. It was like that episode of The Simpsons where they go to family therapy and just beat each other with a soft bat.
It's those, drunk minds say sober thoughts or whatever kind of deal. But Homelander and Soldier Boy show up to Fort Harmony and they're making a lot of noise, but like, I'm surprised Homelander didn't hear all the noise while they're fighting each other, considering Homelander has super hearing. Like, that was kind of weird.
But I wonder if it's like Daredevil or Superman, where like they have super hearing, but they have to focus on it and they're not expecting anyone to be there. But yeah, so let's talk. So obviously the boys beat Homelander and Soldier Boy there, but that was fantastic because you also, like, obviously Homelander and Soldier Boy are impacted by it too, but you can't tell that they are because they're both so nasty anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like they were being mean to each other before Soldier Boy does say, so we didn't talk about him and Firecracker. They, they bond over guns.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's the same style of gun that Dean just happens to carry, his gun that he always has.
Supernatural.
But he's, Soldier Boy only did it because he was trying to anger Homelander. And I was certain that Firecracker had dug her own grave by sleeping with him. I was like, she's toast. But she fortunately walks in. Homelander smells Soldier Boy, but then he's like, whatever, I need you because I want to become Lord. I want to become the Messiah. And so she helps with that because she's the one that actually likes Jesus and, wants to worship God. She has reservations, obviously, and we learn that, especially towards the end of the episode, Voldemort Ashley is like, she's lying. Yeah, no crap. You can see it on her face. She's terrified because this is her first time where she's truly having to sacrifice everything she believes in for Homelander.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting. I'm enjoying her character because I feel like she was always kind of a victim of her circumstances. And like, even when you found out how mean Starlight was to her, it's like, oh, well, that makes sense. I mean, should she have called out the,
she's still Starlight like somebody who can't be redeemed and everything like that and is a giant piece of crap. But at the same time, there is a little bit there that's like, you do kind of just feel a little bad because of her up.
Right. And it's like, is she doing this now because she's scared or for selfish reasons? And I genuinely think it's both. But what is controlling her right now? Fear or still wanting to be on the 7 or be important or whatever. But all right, so back to Soldier Boy and Homelander. Them just walking in together. He's like, why did you decide to help me? Well, Firecracker told me you actually look up to me, so I guess you're not a complete idiot. And that's when they learn that they both slept with Clara, which was Homelander worded that weird. I guess we're related in more ways than one. Ew.
Yeah, that's gross.
Right.
Because their theory is, the big theory is that
Wiener cousins.
Well, not that. The big theory is that Clara is Homelander's mom.
I don't think so for a second. And here's why I don't think that. One, they said that Homelander's mom was like somebody who was paid to just carry this baby and she died. I do believe that. Two, I don't think it's her mom because Clara had a child and that she had, I believe she had that picture of the child in a locket or something and she cared for that child. So I don't see her carrying a child to term and then being okay with them taking it. I don't see that being the case.
But did she know? What if she didn't know?
But Soldier Boy said that he beat his meat into a cup. So this is, Homelander's definitely a test tube baby.
But here's the thing. What if she had an egg donated? Like,
that they tested it on that?
Yeah.
That would be creepy because you would think though that the pheromones would make them not attracted to each other.
Listen,
because
I'm just saying, I'm just devil's advocate. I think it'd be gross. That's the big theory. Who knows? We don't know, honestly.
He's too blonde. I'm gonna go with that. He's too blonde. He can't.
Let's hope not. But nonetheless, yeah. So Soldier Boy though ends
I don't like it.
pushing Homelander into that radiation prison and locking it, which makes him,
yes.
it's not going to kill him, but it's going to make him very sick. He can't get out because it's designed to keep him in. And meanwhile, Frenchie basically tricked Soldier Boy into killing Quinn, who Soldier Boy knew
so
from
easily manipulated.
Yeah.
And
that pretty much just really put Soldier Boy into this like oppressive mode. So after Butcher taunts Homelander escapes after everyone's gone, and he finds Soldier Boy, who's just kind of like really bummed out, sad, like, just kill me already. And it's kind of like, whoa, this version of Soldier Boy, whoa.
Right. And you kind of wonder, and I do hope that they go into it in Vought Rising, but like, he's like, I'm not going to kill him. He deserves to suffer. And then when Frenchie antagonizes him and he does kill him, he then starts crying and apologizing. So it's like, what
happened, you know?
Right. Yeah. Who is Quinn? Is Quinn Torpedo? Like, we don't know who Quinn is.
Yeah, we don't. But
why is he still alive? Did he get V1?
All of this while it was going on, Annie goes back to her. She finds her dad, who has this whole new life, and he explains that, hey man, your mom got really jacked up.
X2.
It is because her stepbrother or whatever.
Did you know that that's a half brother? Did you know immediately he was going to do that? I knew immediately he was going to do that.
Obviously, absolutely. He didn't want her there. And then so the cop shows up, and it's very relevant because it's the cop like, hey, we've known each other for so long, XYZ. And the cop's like, you got an hour, dude. Get her out of here.
Yeah, that was nice to give him an hour.
It was very nice in that regard.
And he mentioned Livewire is helping them. So Livewire is a soup that was in season 3, I think. He was one of the contestants to make the 7. And obviously he didn't make the 7. And now he's helping the cops round up Starlighters. Yeah.
Yeah. And Annie also forgives like her brother, like, hey man, I get it. It's not your fault. Like, you don't know me. This whole situation's pretty jacked up, everything going on. Done. Yeah, it's one of those things. And then obviously too, at the very end, Ashley Firecracker and Father all kind of come up with a plan as they're going to deliver Homelander as the new Lord and Savior, introducing the new Democratic Church of America.
And Father doesn't seem to have any reservations. This is a
the man speaks the word of God. Like,
but like, I do enjoy though that him and Ashley were like an arranged marriage for political reasons, but they very much so are enjoying each other to the point where their bedroom smells like a warm shit in a Waffle House.
Oh.
See, there are times I really do like Firecracker because she does kind of like, obviously she spews more lies than truth, but sometimes she does lay it out how it is.
Yeah. And Child Valley Curry, she plays her so well.
When you interviewed her, that was the first time I found out she didn't have that Southern accent at all, which makes complete sense. But
her Instagram's awesome. She's out here like building a house or something out of scratch in the middle of the woods. So it's very fascinating. She's very handy.
Like
awesome.
Iron Man.
Well, it's dope. Like, hell yeah, it's awesome. But so that's kind of like our mid-season kind of what's happening. I don't really want to make predictions just because we've seen through episode 7. We have not seen the finale, so we don't know how the finale wraps up. We really do not know how the show ends.
I do have one theory, and it's similar to Supernatural, but I'm not going to say it yet.
Fair. That's definitely fair. Hopefully they kind of like drop it here soon, but that's kind of where we're at. I'm loving the season so far. I think this is a very good season and a step up from last season for sure.
And next week is our Supernatural reunion, which I personally loved. I absolutely loved it.
It was a great episode. It really was.
Keep your eyes peeled for lots of Supernatural Easter eggs. You're going to want to pause it a lot. That's what I did, so I could take it all in.
We're going to do a breakdown of Supernatural Easter eggs, too.
There's so many. I'm already overwhelmed. I'm also making some of them up, I think.
Most things are made up. All words are made up. I don't know.
Supernaturally. I can turn anything into a supernatural Easter egg.
You could. You really could. I'll have to watch it again. I'll help you out. Don't worry. We got this. We're a tag team. We're here to interview as a team and find Easter eggs as a team. But make sure, though, check out our post shows over at nerdinitiative.com. There's a QR code kind of above my head. If you scan that, that'll take you to our YouTube and all of our stuff to kind of find our episodes. You can find our season 4 recap, our other boys episodes. We interviewed Derek Robertson a couple years ago, illustrator, artist for the boys. And then you can just find out everything we're doing. Find Lauren's write-ups about the boys if you want more boys content over on Nerd Initiative. But that's where we're at there. Make sure to subscribe, hit notifications, and follow along as we do this and get ready for the next half of the boys. And shout out to all of our Patreons as well for supporting our show, helping us. And next week starts Star Wars month. But not only is next week the start of Star Wars month, you can find Lauren and I where?
Galaxy's Edge, and our first episode will be okay. So our first episode is going to be really cool because it's going to be all about Galaxy's Edge, but it's going to be the tie-ins to the comics and the book because I'm currently reading. Oh, it's on here, the Galaxy's Edge book, and it's been so fun how they've tied into the actual world into this canonical book.
Yeah,
and we're going to have Easter eggs for the park and all sorts of fun stuff. It's going to be fun, and then we're
going to be there. Yes,
we're going to find those things the day the episode drops.
And then come and find us at Galaxy's Edge. And then you can probably find us drinking around the world at Epcot on Cinco de Mayo. I will probably have an avocado margarita or 3 in my hands as well. So
Cinco de Drinko.
Come find us there. Come just join us if you would like. Come say hi. You'll see us. This is what we look like. And we will see you there. May the Force be with you, my friends, as we get ready for Star Wars month. Go watch The Boys. Let us know what you think.
Drink blue milk and celebrate Star Wars and The Boys.
Hell yeah.